What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Preppers well, it's not System Preppers Live. I'm going completely based off of my instinctual habits by this point. This is Crafter Hours. This is a series of streams where we build something, not necessarily new every stream, but at least try to build something every stream. And we're going to do the same thing today once I finally get my screen on the screen. Once again, things are a little bit behind this morning. You know, they get the whole morning routine where I have to help my wife get both kids ready for school and to school. I have to go drive one of them to school. So, you know, it just ends up being a lot of things happening all at the same time, right at the very end, right before I've got the stream scheduled. So that's just the way it goes. But it's okay. We're here now and we're ready to get started on the task for today. Let's see, anything interesting worth mentioning? I've been experimenting a little bit the last couple days with hosting my own GitForge using Forgeo and using Laminar as a CI system. If you haven't heard of Laminar, well, let's just pull the website up really quickly. Laminar CI. Laminar is a CI platform, a continuous integration platform. It's basically one of the things that you use to you know, build your code whenever you push it to a repository. It's lightweight and it's very much based around using scripts to drive your build. Because I want to use Guix to deploy my site, and because I want to deploy updates to the site on every commit to the repository, I need a CI system that can run Guix. Now, there's other options for this, but Laminar seems to be the most straightforward thing. So if I host my own Guix server with Laminar as a CI system and have my own Forge, I don't really necessarily need my own Forge, but let's just say that I kind of want to have one anyway. I should be able to have Laminar use Guix to build and deploy this site, emaxpackages.com, that we're working on, and also the main System Crafters websites automatically. So we may actually talk about that on Friday, on the stream on Friday. I'm kind of interested in this idea of using Laminar, and we might actually go into it a little bit more on that stream. Hopefully I will have actually gotten something working, and we might have it deployed on the same server that we're going to be using today. So we'll see how that goes. Let me say hello to the folks who are here so far. I saw Glenn in the IRC chat at some point. Let's see. Also on the YouTube side, I see Jerry and Alex. Hey, Jerry. Jerry says, good morning. Won't be here long. Had trouble sleeping, but we'll head to bed soon. Well, I'm glad to see you just for a moment there, Jerry. Alex says, where are you around? I am in Massachusetts and it's 3 a.m. Yeah, I'm in Athens, Greece. So that's why I'm seemingly conscious at this hour of the day. Hello, Andrew. So, yeah. Okay, making sure the audio is still playing. I hit a random button on my keyboard. I want to make sure I didn't break the stream. So, anyway, that's sort of the state of things right now. I'm still working on the Datastar demo project for the video. I ended up having to rewrite some of it because I felt like I was starting to go into territory that's a little bit too complicated. And the message I'm trying to send on the video is that it's not complicated. So probably better not to make it complicated, right? I'm going to make a video about how Datastar reduces complications. So I don't know. I'm just having fun experimenting, and I'm trying to understand my own perspective on how to best use this thing. So I've got a few different things going on right now. So I need to get focused and finish one of them at least. So today the goal is to deploy the emaxpackages.com website that we've been working on for the past few weeks. It's a website written in Guile scheme using SQLite 3 for the database and using Datastar, which is a relatively not well-known HTML UI framework, which allows us to do most of the dynamic stuff on the back end, which is great. We're going to deploy it to a virtual private server on a provider called Contabo using Guix. I've got some stuff already. I've already got a server set up. I have a VM set up that I created like a year ago and I haven't really used for anything yet. It's got a basic configuration on it. We're gonna start from there because I figured it would take less time than just like starting up a complete VM from scratch and installing Guix on it. But I'll explain sort of what I did when we get into it to let you know how I did it. And then we will set up a staging subdomain for the Emacs Packages website. We will deploy the Emacs Packages website to that server. At first, it won't have SSL, so we'll have to access it through plain HTTP, unencrypted. But then we will try to set up the HTTPS endpoint using a certificate that we obtain from Let's Encrypt, which is a service that allows you to create free SSL certificates for websites, using a service in Guix that automates the process of managing Certbot, which is sort of a tool that you use for automating the creation and management of these certificates. So once we have all that set up, in theory, we will have a working website that someone can go to, or you can even go to while we're on the stream, and you can kind of play around with it, create a new user account. I think they have a user account creation page. We may need to tweak a couple things so people can actually use the site, but yes, we will, in theory, have everything working so that you can go take a look at the site. Now, that won't be the real site that we've deployed yet. It's still just sort of a version we're poking around with a little bit, but it'll be fun to see it actually live, something we wrote to be up on the internet. So we'll get to that in just a moment. I also want to say that in honor of us finally getting the site deployed this week after working on it for a few weeks, I decided to give a discount on my hands-on Guile Scheme for Beginners course. This is an on-demand course where you will basically learn the fundamentals of Scheme and also the fundamentals of functional programming, and then how to do practical programming with Scheme using Guile Scheme. And it's pretty comprehensive, I think. It goes into a lot of depth on various different issues, especially around writing Scheme modules, debugging, using the REPL for interactive development, using Emacs and Geyser for interactive development, and a lot of other things. Andrew says, I'm in the Guile course. Great. That's awesome. Glad to hear it. Glenn also was in there in one of the earlier iterations. So there is an automatic discount of $50 off of the full price of the course. If you go to the site for the course, you can also go to systemcrafters.net/learn-scheme. I think it goes to the same place. If you go to the actual page for the checkout, the discounts already apply. You don't have to use any kind of code or anything. I changed that because it was confusing on the site before. So this is an automatic discount now. So anyway, that's going to be going on until, I think, Sunday evening, I believe. So just like for the rest of this week, effectively. So make use of that if you want to learn Scheme. And definitely let me know what you think about the course if you've taken it, or if you have any questions about it, please feel free to send them to me via email, david@systemcrafters.net. All right. I'll probably mention that a couple more times in the stream today, just in case other people are dropping by and haven't seen it. So I'm excited to get started on this stuff today. Let me just see where we're at in the code base currently. No, I'm totally in the wrong place. Sites. I got to fix my completions. EmacsPackages.com. Here we go. So I have a deploy folder here with a server configuration. I'd already written a server configuration for EmacsPackages.com. And this is something we did, maybe, was it last week? We wrote a package definition for EmacsPackages.com with all the stuff to pull in the dependencies and set up the environment correctly, and also to put the database file in a particular location, which I think works. I believe we did see that actually work. And then to host the Shepherd service that runs the backend, and also to set up Nginx as a reverse proxy, which doesn't really have anything that complicated set up yet. It just sort of forwards along every request to the backend that's running on port 8080. So that's sort of our starting point here. However, we're going to have to think about this a little bit because in the short term, I believe I'm going to end up hosting multiple websites on the same server. So I'm working on a few different things that I want to host, and I don't necessarily want to run multiple VMs. These VMs from Contabo are actually quite capable. I think they're like 4 core, in 6 gigabytes of RAM or something like that. So they have pretty nice configuration. They should be able to run a couple websites. It may not work out like that in practice, we'll see, but the idea is that I will probably host emacs-packages.com and systemcrafters.net, the new version of it, at least the one that we're going to be working on here and there, using the same VM. So to do that, we're going to have one server configuration that hosts multiple of these projects, which may imply that we have a shared server configuration that lives outside of the repository of this project. So I'm trying to think through how I want to do that. I might have to create my own Guix channel that has all the configuration stuff in it. Maybe. I'm not 100% certain about that though. So let's think about that after I take a little sip of my Monster, which I'm not being sponsored by Monster. It'd be nice if I was though. Glenn says, highly recommend the Guile scheme course. Thank you, Glenn. Glenn is probably the best person to say something about that, because Glenn went from not knowing Scheme at all to writing a couple projects in Scheme and also Emacs Lisp after the fact. So that was pretty cool. Hey, Peter. All right. So let's think this through for a second. We've got this configuration here. The stuff that really matters for this website is the package configuration and also the service configuration for hosting the site. So if I were to think of this from a more, I guess, a more well-organized perspective, I don't even know if you can see this very well. Let me know if the text is too small. We're going to have one cloud VM, potentially multiple websites hosted there. So let's say emacs-packages.com, systemcrafters.net, maybe even ci.systemcrafters.net in the short term. There could even be a forge.systemcrafters.net. Now, these will probably get split out into separate VPSs at some point, just whenever I sort of understand what the full demand on a server would be from running these sites together, because systemcrafters.net gets a fair amount of traffic. The rest won't. Emacs-packages.com could, depending on how useful it becomes. But I don't want to overload things. But I think it's probably a more practical choice to just host them all on one server in the very short term, just to see how things go, and then we will kind of take stock of things as time goes on. So to put all these in one server, we need to have one server configuration, but also, code projects in separate repositories. So perhaps, well, let's see. Perhaps there is a separate repo for the actual server config. And that could be a channel, or it might not be a channel. It really just sort of depends on how things go. So how this could work in practice is, at least from deploying locally, so there's two ways I could deploy something using Guix. One is I could just deploy it directly from my local server, because Guix builds everything related to a system configuration in its build daemon sandbox, right? Peter says I would not worry about overloading until it starts to happen. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't really see any reason to have separate servers, separate cloud servers for the different websites until we see that there's a load issue. So I can build the whole server configuration, all the code necessary to run on the server locally using the Guix build daemon, because it's all sandboxed. It's relatively safe to do that. Then I can push that to the server whenever I need to. The other approach is to have it be built and deployed using a CI server. So whenever a commit gets pushed to any of the repos involved, it triggers a build, and then it would take this one server configuration and redeploy it, which could mean that every site gets updated every time that the one of the repos changes, which I'm not 100% sure yet whether that's a good thing or not. We will definitely have to check that out. I wonder if the sites will stay up, like if the Shepherd services for like Nginx, et cetera, would stay up if I deploy a new configuration. I'm not certain about that yet. That's another thing we'll have to see in practice, which is another reason why I would not make a systemcrafters.net like a real changeover to this new version of the site live until I know that the site's not going to go down anytime I push a commit to one of the CI servers. So have to be a little bit careful about how this works. We're going to have to investigate some things a little bit, but that's okay. That's the whole point of these streams is we're kind of learning how to use Guix as a development and deployment tool along with Guile Scheme and see, you know, kind of what the characteristics are of it so we can learn to use it better. Because I think it's a pretty powerful combination for a lot of reasons. And I'm excited to make more things with it, let's say. Peter says staging environment. Yeah, well, you mean like a separate VM entirely? I mean, it might be good to have a separate staging environment just to make sure everything works before doing a manual deployment. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right, so I'm kind of convinced now that we need one server configuration. Let's see, where would I store that? It could be in the systemcrafters.net repo. Or different virtual host on the same VM. Different virtual hosts on the same VM. Yeah, it's going to be definitely different Nginx. Separate Guix container. Maybe. We'll see. All right, so let's see. Server configs. Yeah, I don't know if it's the best name for this. Because not only does it need to have a server configuration, it also needs to have package definitions. We may have to move our package definition for emacspackages.com over there. Let's think. Server configurations. I mean, there may be multiple, right? Well, what else would be a good name for this? I guess we can change it if we have to. We may change it before the end of the stream. Server setup, maybe. Maybe that one's a good one. Geek server configurations for system crafters websites. I don't really need to initialize a repository. I'll do that myself. All right, server configurations. I will go to sites and open up an eShell here. Make dear server configurations. Whoops. Excuse me. All right, so we got a basic Git repository. I'll pop in here. All right, so I'll make a folder. And then we'll say, I don't really know if this is the right way to do this, but define module. All right, so that's the main server configuration. We'll just leave it blank for now. I'll go back over to the server.sem we had created before. I'm going to grab this emacspackages.com config. Trev says, hey, first time viewer, are you new to programming? Yes, I'm extremely new to programming. That's the way it is here. Packages slash, let's see. Let's, whoa, wow, okay. Sites. I mean, it could be emaxpackages.com in there, but whatever. So define public. Okay, here we go. Yes, create it. Thank you. All right, so we got the emaxpackages.com package here. I'm kind of making it like a channel in a way. It's not really a channel, but it's fine. All right, so we got that. We're gonna have to pull in some other things to make sure that we can define the package. Hey, Jazza. Jazza says, in this day and age, I think Caddy is a much better alternative for web server than Nginx. Will also provide TLS out of the box. Does Guix have Caddy? Nope. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna grab this whole use modules form. I think that we're gonna need a lot of the stuff from it for this. Separate Guix profiles, not like Docker containers. Guix is really strong managing the separation concerns. Yeah. Separate profiles, like server profiles. All right, so GNU system. We don't need system. Guix get gexpression, licenses, get download. All of those seem like they are needed. All right, let's just drop these in here. I know this is painful to watch. It's painful to do too. All right, so that's pulling all that stuff in. So now we've got an Emacs packages. Whoa. I didn't need that. Let's see, scripts start server.scm. Okay, that's kind of a problem now. Install. Oh, okay. No, that's fine. It's fine. All right, got that. And it's not a local folder anymore. We're gonna have to go fully with the repo checkout. So let me see what I need to do for that. If I go to my own dot files. Actually, can I do that? No, let's go to dot files. All right, so let's just steal this real quick. I'm sorry. Why is iSearch complaining at me? I don't want iSearch. That was weird. Okay. So codeberg.org, system crafters, Emacs packages.com. I believe that's the name of the repo. Let's take a look real quick. That's it, emaxpackages.com. Version. And we're gonna have to append a commit to that. So let commit. And we'll pull the latest commit for the site. Okay. Okay, so we got the version. Substring. Commit 010, I don't know, 8. Maybe 8's enough. Okay, so that's a version number. And for the commit, we're going to use commit instead. If we were using tags, it'd probably be better. Maybe I should be using tags, actually. And for versions, I'd probably use a different strategy, like a date-based tagging strategy. That's probably what I need to do going forward, but we can change that. Let me just make a little note here. Use use date-based tagging instead. All right. I don't know why Geyser keeps popping up. Peter says, is there no elegant way to use get describe for the version? Maybe. But I haven't really seen it done in Guix package definitions. This is sort of just the way I see it done, mostly. And I'm going to have to fix that SHA hash as soon as it starts complaining at me, but that's okay. File name, get file name version. I don't think that's what we want. We go back to this one. No, it is. Okay, file name version. Commit version. Okay, good, good, good. So, in fact, maybe I should just do that right now. 2025, what is it? 226. That would be sort of a tag I would use for that. You treat that as a version number. So, that's the package definition. That should work because it is pulling the code from the repository. Now, we can actually go and try to build that just to make sure it works. So if I were to, Guix build -f system crafters, come on. It needs to be, you can actually use a Guix REPL for that, I think. But let's go into ANSI terms, do that. All right, so Guix REPL -L. All right, unexpected. Aha, okay. Good to know. Let's start that over because sometimes it does the wrong thing. I feel like there's like a build. Okay, Guix REPL commands. There's a way to build something using Guix interactively. Build. Build, all right. Build emaxpackages.com. Bash unbound variable. Thank you. That actually does sound right. So let me go back to server config. We need to pull in the package modules for the various things that we're using. I'm just going to use package modules for that. I know it's a little bit cheesy, but it is what it is. Let's see if I reload the module, if it works. Okay. I think there's a way to reload a module. Help module. Reload. Whoops. Okay. There we go. Now it's building. All right, so I think that's the hash mismatch. So let me go grab the correct hash. We're gonna just dump it right in here. I haven't really used the Guix REPL a whole lot for this kind of development, but actually I can see how it'd be really useful to quickly just rebuild things as you're developing the package definitions. So that's cool. Glad to see that. Okay, now let's reload the module once again. Excuse me. and then build emaxpackages.com. All right, so it seems to have checked it out. Let's see, builder failed. Actually, I can do find file at point. I need to find that somewhere. Package dot, ooh, wow. What, really? Package.sem line 79. Do I actually have a bug in the code? It's in views, line 79. Well, I'll be damned. There actually is one. All right, so we fixed that. Why did that not get caught before? I guess because we weren't compiling the code. All right, let's put a little commit on that. Actually, we can we don't have to do this. Control XVV. That's one thing I like about VC mode. I guess Magic can do it too, but you know, sometimes it's easier to just fire off a commit for a single file. Remove extra parenthesis. I think that this is just being stupid. Yeah, I hate this thing about side windows and pin entry. Sometimes it gives you trouble. So let's just pull up a little side terminal here. CD project site emaxpackages.com. Git push origin master. Main. Once again, close that. There we go. All right, so that's pushed now. Let me check. How do I get the latest commit? GPG, yeah, I have that too. But the problem is, in certain cases, Emacs will refuse to show the pin entry prompt, and I don't know why. It just gets in the way somehow. Okay, so emaxpackages.com. Actually, we're here, right? Yeah, I get that fairly frequently, and it's extremely annoying. All right, I hope this actually fixes it. So we're going to change the commit here, which also means we're going to have to change the hash. That's okay. We'll figure everything out. Commits changed. Go back into the REPL. And then we're going to reload the module, build emaxpackages.com. It's going to tell me again about the hash. That's fine. We know that already. I'm too lazy to calculate it myself. All right, so let's see what happens this time. All right. Successful build, it seems. And if I go directly to this folder path using find file at point, we should see that it has the bin, which is start server. See you, Jerry. Thanks for being here. Share, which has all the Guile modules for the site in it. So everything is there. Cool. So we have our our package for the website migrated over, which is good. Now it means we can start working on the real server configuration for the site. So we've got this here, our main server as well. Now, I've got some old configuration that we can leverage for this. So if I go to media, David Will, this is like an old hard drive. Well, it's a hard drive from one of my other machines. Projects, sites, Guild. So I had to recover this from the ThinkPad machine that died recently, but we have all the stuff that I had been working on for deploying the System Crafters Guild website when I was working on that. So we have a full configuration plus like some deployment scripts and whatnot. I have server.sem here. No, that's not the one. But we will be using this one for sure. This is the deployment configuration. So in fact, I can just probably copy this over to our new project folder. So servers. I'm trying to think of the best place to put this. Yeah, servers and sites. Maybe systems. Systems may be the better way to call that. And then machines. Because this is what we end up having. Okay, you've got an operating system configuration, then you've got a machine configuration. They're two different things. And you want to separate those things from different files so that you can build the operating system configuration separately from doing the deployment, just if you want to do local testing, right? All right, so let's pop back over. No. Machines. What would I call these? Yeah, we're just going to call it something for now. Whoops, that's a folder. Didn't mean to name it that. Contabo 1.sem. Is that going to work? No. All right, so we've got this. We will also turn this into a module. So define module, system crafters, machines, Contabo 1. And we also want to pull in, use module, system crafters, systems. Let's rename this folder. It's not servers. Let's go to main server. We're going to kill that buffer. We're going to rename this folder to systems. Okay. And yeah, main server is fine. I think that's fine to call it that. And we're going to export an operating system configuration from this file back over in our Contabo 1 file. We're going to pull in systems main server. We'll pull some more things in there as well, but for now, that's that. This actually is the configuration info from the server that I already have set up on Contabo. Host name, you know, all the other things. ID RSA, I probably need to copy that file over. So where is that? No? We'll have to check it out, but we'll take a look at this in a little bit when we actually start trying to push the deployment. All right, so now back over to the server config. Not this one. We will use this one, but not that just yet. We need to go into server.sem. Nope, not server. Config.sem. Now this is where a lot of the useful stuff is. In fact, I'll go ahead and copy the contents of this file. I'm going to put it back over into main server.sem after the define module. Okay. So guild site shepherd config. I'm going to take this stuff out for now because we don't really need this. It was some experimental stuff I was doing. The rest of this stuff is necessary though, because this is relating to the configuration of that machine, since I've already got Guix installed on the machine. And okay, let me just explain for a second what I did. on Kitabo. Kitabo is a pretty, affordable host. I believe that Peter told me about this last year at some point. I think Peter has a Guix server running on Kitabo. Pretty good prices on their stuff. I'm not an affiliate of theirs. I probably should be, because I'll probably be promoting them more. But Kitabo seems pretty good, and they have servers in Europe, United States, etc. I created a VM on their server. Peter, if you haven't seen this is their new backend UI, which is way, way better than the 2000s era PHP looking website they had before, new.kitabo.com. So I created the VM there, been running forever, has an IP address set up. When I created a plain VM, but I also uploaded an image of the Guix official 1.4.0 ISO that I downloaded from their website. And I attached that image to the VM when it booted the first time, and I went through the normal Guix installation process purely just to get a base Guix install on the machine. Nothing special, no extra packages, no nothing, just enough to get it set up with an SSH endpoint and to configure it to be able to accept deployments from my system. Now, to do that, you have to do a couple things. One is you need to set up a user with an authorized key that has your SSH key, your own personal SSH key, as an authorized user on your OpenSSH configuration, so that you can SSH directly into the machine without having to be authenticated separately. This is also necessary because when Guix tries to deploy your files, I think it also needs to be you need to authenticate you over SSH that way too, because it sort of like uses SCP, I think, to copy the files from the local machine to the deployed machine. So you need to have that set up. You also need to configure the Guix build daemon, the Guix service, on the server to accept items that are built from your local machine or any other machine you're deploying from. So that machine is going to have its own public key for the build daemon. So we're going to have to figure out what it is on this machine, because this is not the same machine that I created the other configuration on. We're going to have to look that up, but that's not really a big deal. That will affect our ability to do Guix deploy. But everything else, like, I think the base configuration was just everything in this file except for the Nginx service configuration. So it's really not that much config for a server. And I put Emacs on there just so that I would have it if I had the SSHN and needed to use Emacs or something. Yeah, you set yourself up, your user up as a pseudo user to be able to log in and do necessary tasks. Audio video shouldn't be needed. I don't know why I left that there. But anyways, really basic configuration. It really doesn't require a whole lot. Let me put this to etc UTC as well. etc/UTC. All right. So use module GNU. I'm sure we're going to need some more things here. And that's good. We will also want use module system crafters sites Emacs packages, because we're going to pull in the package or the service information for that. So let me go back to the server file from the website project. I'm going to go grab all this and move it over to the Emacs packages.scm. So we have our package definition. Now we will also have we don't want the full OS definition. What we want is the shepherd service, or sorry, the Emacs packages service type. So we're going to define that, make it public. If I can remember to type correctly. Then Emacs packages shepherd service. All right. Site package. This is going to be, let me do a find and replace in here. Okay, there's that. I think that's what I call the package. All right, cool. I see that I need to move these up here. I believe I've already duplicated one of them, so I'll get rid of that. All right, so we got the package definition. We've got the Shepherd service definition, which is not public because it doesn't need to be. And we got the service type that is public. Over in the main server configuration, in the services list, now that we have this pulled up, we can add service Emacs packages service type. Backend services, so yeah, whatever. Now, the cool thing about all this is I think there's a modular way to configure Nginx, so I don't need to put all this extra stuff directly in here. Let me check on that. Guix. Can I do that in the Guix package? So Guix extensions? No. Services. Let's see. I just want to take a look at the Nginx service. I know there's an extension here. Yeah, Nginx configuration. Server blocks. So the Nginx service type can be extended with extra server configurations. Append Nginx configuration server blocks config with servers. So basically, the server configuration that I would have put here as a separate Nginx config, this Nginx server configuration can be applied as an extension to the Nginx service type. So what I can do here is go to the service extensions, service extension. And that is the Nginx service type, Nginx service type. Emacs packages, Nginx config. I don't know. This also needs to be Emacs packages Shepherd service. What this means is that I don't have to know in any operating system configuration how to configure Nginx for this site, because I can do it myself in this extension. I think this needs to be a list. All right, so I've got that now. Sorry, other computer went to sleep. All right, so I've got Nginx server. Cool, that's that. Hey, Zane. Zane says, is the plan to use our local Guix to build packages using the target parameter, then deploy to the server to copy to its GNU store? Yeah, we're going to use Guix deploy, which streamlines that whole process. Basically, we use Guix deploy to deploy a machine configuration over SSH to the running machine in the cloud. All right, so the Emacs packages service type has all this. Let me see what else I can delete from in here. Emacs NoX toolkit, port configuration, site type, blah, 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 blah. Good. So I think we're clean on this now. We have our service. And over here in the main server, in our Nginx configuration, So just by pulling this in, it should set up Nginx for us, but we still need to have an Nginx service type active. Anything special here? I think if I just leave that out, I think I'll take all this out too. I had this somewhere else, so I don't really need to keep it. All right. Yes, it's extremely convenient if you set it up, if you take the time to set it up all correctly. It takes a little bit of effort. All right, now we can actually try to build this and see if it works, because I think there's going to be some issues. Let's go into the ANSI term again. You know, let's see. Guix REPL. I wonder how well this is going to work. We're going to find out. Add to load path. Home. Projects, sites, system configurations. Okay, use system crafters, systems, main server. No code for module, which doesn't sound good. This should be systems, right? Yeah, I need to fix that. Systems. Unknown file name for module. Let's try that one more time. Systems, main server. Sites, system configurations. Let's just make sure everything's right. Project sites, server configurations. Let me try to use Control-C, Control-Z. Oh, it doesn't restart it. Unknown file name for module. What does that even mean? Unknown file name for module. We're also going to define public. Forgot to do that. Is there a way to... Let's just kill it. I broke it. I broke the REPL. That's okay. Let me go back to ANSI term, because we had one running there already. All right, so we're going to load. Wrong number of arguments to procedure REPL form. That's really interesting. Let's just start this over. Okay, so main server. Unbound variable. System crafter servers, systems, main server. What am I doing wrong here? All right, let's do a plain old Guile REPL. All right, so use system crafters, systems, main server. Seems to have worked. Yeah, it's there. Finally. All right, so now we're in the Guix REPL. Build main server. Let's just see if it works. Okay, good. So we need to have the key file, because what it's complaining about is this davidwill.pub file that I have not set up in the right location yet. If I go back to the, what is it, config.scm file, if I jump into that directory, there is a couple things. There's the davidwill.pub file that I need to copy. I'm going to copy that over to system configs. Let's see. Oh, this is a wrong folder path entirely. So we're going to copy that to root. Projects. Sites. No. Sites. System configurations. No. What? server configurations. There we go. Let's say keys. That doesn't exist. Man, I hate that that does it that way. Sites. Let's just put it here for now. No. God. Let me open up a second window. I'm going to go to projects, sites. I'm fighting with Emacs here. Keys. Copy. Yes. Thank you. In the keys folder. Now, if I go to the main server config, davidwill.pub, this is going to be down 2 levels / keys. So ..keys, because we're doing a relative file path here. And then we'll go back into ANSI term. We're going to reload this module. And then we're going to build it again and see if it complains about that file being missing. All right, seems to be building the configuration. So it's a good step to have the server configuration be built. Let's see how long it takes, if it works. Once we build it, we can try to run it in a container and see if it works in the container. And then we can try to deploy it to the server. Okay, seems to have built it. That's fine, good. All right. I mean, maybe we don't need to really do that just yet. Let's just think about this for a moment. This is not the guild server. SC main, we can call it that for now. I don't know. All right, let's go over to our Emacs packages.scm file. Actually, I want to change the domains here. Server name staging.emacs-packages.com. We're just going to do that for now. That's the domain that I will set up in a moment once we get the server rolling. Listen 8081. Should I? Okay, let's leave it at 8081 for now. Should probably also set the port configuration separately, so we can't have a bunch of servers running on port 8080 in the background. You know, that's definitely a config element. Okay. We could try to actually deploy this thing. If I go to Contabo 1, we are going to pull in the main system. Should we rename that to main system config? Main server config. There we go, main server config. Managed host environment type, SSH configuration, host key should still be correct. System, user, identity, /ID, RSA. Let's look that up really quick. This is a machine config. Also, I probably need to pull in the right modules for this. So let's go back to the docs. Machine, what is the module? Package modules, bootloaders. Maybe it isn't needed. Bare bones setup. Identity. If specify the path to the SSH private key to use to authenticate with the remote host. Let me double check that something is actually there, because I might need to roll that. So ls SSH. We only have known hosts. What do I have in this SSH old? Okay, old keys. Who knows which one is which? I had an ID RSA. Path to the SSH private key to use to authenticate with a remote host. I must have created one. Let me check on that other machine. I go back to config.scm, and if I pop down to SSH, oh, really? That's kind of weird. I guess it was kind of in that path, wasn't it? The SSH private key to use to authenticate with the remote host. Because I'm using GPG for this process, and I wonder if conventional SSH keys are going to work. But let's give it a shot anyway. So let's see. Yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna do this in a terminal, a separate terminal, just so I don't screw anything up. Okay. So now we've got a key, and I can take that ID. See, where was it? That was in Tabo 1. There's that. Hopefully this authenticates correctly. I probably need to add it to my agent too. But I don't really have a running agent, I think, because GPG is handling it. Let's just see what happens if I do this. Who knows? Seemed to do something. All right, so let's try it. I'm not showing the private keys, man. It's a thumbprint, right? Is that not? So look, key random art image. Is it public or private? Public keys fingerprint. Yeah. I don't think that's a problem. I haven't shown the key. You'll have to tell me though, because who knows? I could make a huge mistake. All right, so now, why do I have so many foot terminals open? Okay. So we got that set up. We should be able to try it now and see if it works. I don't really know if it's gonna work, but we can give it a shot. Let me go back to the Guix deploy documentation. Guix deploy. Yeah, we're gonna try to deploy that file. So if I go to my ANSI term, let's get out of this Guix REPL. Guix deploy, we're gonna use -L to make sure we have access to our module path. Then system crafters. Trust says, if I'm only half paying attention and you're only half paying attention, then we have full attention. It shouldn't leak any private keys. That's true. System crafters / machine / contabo 1.scm. All right, machine unbound variable. Yes, I knew I was missing some kind of module there. SSH, Manage host environment type. Okay, sure. Let's see. Let's see what it does. First, it has to build the configuration. Oh. Cool. It's building it. It may not deploy it, though. We'll see. Ah, okay. Maybe it's working. It's sending 25 store items to the server, which means it's built them locally. Now it's copying them over to effect a deployment. And then once that's complete, which seems to be taking a while, I'm not sure why it takes this long. Once that's complete, it should activate that configuration. And in theory, we should be able to hit that endpoint from the public web. But there's no domain attached to it yet. We'll have to do the DNS setup in a minute. That takes way too long. It should be just like, you know, SCP moving some stuff over, but maybe it's a whole bunch of stuff that it's trying to move. Hopefully future deployments don't take so long. The upload seemed to desync your audio and camera. That's weird if it did. Let's see what's happening. It's not giving me a ton of information. Just waiting. There we go. Huh. That's interesting. I haven't updated that machine in a while, so it might have had to do some other stuff too. Okay, so I think it's checking what's on the machine, and now it's like building more stuff to send over to it. But I think every time this runs, it will take less time. Wow, 2 gigs. Okay, the whole server config. Hopefully this is not going to kill my network connection. All right, so while this is going, I'm going to take a 2-minute break, and I'll be back, and we'll, while this is pushing things, after I get back, we'll set up the DNS configuration so that these servers should be accessible from the outside world using a normal conventional domain. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it looks like we're about 21% of the way through, which is not too bad considering how many files it wants to send. Let's go over to the DNS configuration. Now, let me see. What is the right kind of DNS record to use? Is it like an A record? Staging. IPv4 address. Yeah, I think A record is probably the right thing to use for this. And the IP address is that one right there. Okay, so points to 45, blah, 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 blah. Proxied. I don't know if the proxy status thing is necessary, but we'll see. So that would be the site once it actually works. I don't know if it's resolving the domain correctly yet, because I literally just changed the configuration, but we'll see. Okay, I mean, this is not really taking that long. Not as long as I thought. Did I already have something on, on that server, I wonder? Like an 8080? Web server is down. Web server is not returning a connection. That's fine. All right, Guix deploy. That Guix REPL, like for building things that are defined in modules, is pretty nice. So what else can we do in the meantime? Let's start looking at what we need to do to set up Certbot. Guix Certbot service. We had seen this once before, I think. GNU services Certbot. Let's go over to the main server config. And in service modules, we will put up Certbot. We may need to have the Certbot package too. Let me check Guix packages by name. Certbot. Yeah, I screwed up the REPL. I'm gonna have to use Guix search. That is defined in packages /TLS. So SSH TLS. Okay. Check our ANSI term, about 59% through. Cool. All right, so we got Certbot. And let's drop this in. I don't think there's a way to extend Certbot configurations, though, unfortunately. So we're going to have to hard code a couple things here. In our services list, we are going to drop this right here. Okay. Certificates, certificate configuration. Let's check that though, because I'm actually kind of curious if it is possible to extend the Certbot service type. It should be. So sites, no, code, Guix. And GNU /services/Certbot extensions. Extend additional certificates. Boom. All right, so we can do that. It's going to be a list of Certbot configuration endpoints. So let's go back to emacs-packages.scm and put Certbot right there. And our server or service configuration can also add another. Define Emacs packages Certbot config list. We're going to throw another service extension in here. Service extension Certbot service type. Okay, there's that. Now, We need a Certbot config, certificate configuration, Nginx deploy hook. I mean, should we not do that every time? That's fine. It could be duplicated. I don't really mind that. Okay. So, staging.emacsPackages.com and also just plain old emacsPackages.com. And the Nginx deploy hook would be the one defined here. And the idea basically is that whenever you update the certificate, you should signal to the Nginx server to reload them. The sig hang up, I think it basically just causes the server to reload configuration, including certificates. Okay. So that should be good for the next time. Let's see what the server deployment's doing. 86%, that's good. Cool. Go back to main server. I don't need to add the additional certificates list here because now it's going to get pulled in from the service configuration. So all I really need is just the email config, I believe. And then everything else will be composed from the individual services, which is pretty nice. It means that this server config doesn't have to be concerned with the details of individual websites that I'm deploying. They can all have their own kind of self-contained configuration that is in those modules. So that doesn't have to leak out into the main config file. Still 86%, just waiting. And there's another step I think that's necessary to invoke this. So let's see. Initial key generation. It says the initial key generation. I haven't seen that happen in practice, but I hope it's been fixed since then. Automated periodic renewals and deployment tasks associated with the renewal. Certbot is run twice a day at a random minute within the hour. Okay, I think we read that before recently. This says 100% done. Let's see what happens. This is already built with the version that we used before. So it doesn't have the new Certbot stuff we just put in, but once we see that the site works with the current configuration, then we'll try to run the Certbot config. Okay, unauthorized public key. Cool, that makes sense. Because this is the public key for this build machine. So I think if I just copy and paste that into the main server configuration, let me put this into copy mode and jump over here and paste it. Three close parens, public key, ed22519. I think that's it. That looks correct. All right, now we're going to run it again to finish the changes. And I think this will also deploy the Certbot part 2, which is totally fine. Let's see what it does. So what I just did is, so for the Guix daemon on the remote machine to accept the things that you've built on your local machine and unpack them, run them, etc., you have to authorize the public key of the local machine's build daemon because it has its own certificate. Emacs packages service type unbound variable. I think I screwed something up. Let me go and fix that. Anyway, so what just happened is that the remote server rejected my local packages because it didn't have those packages. It didn't have that configuration set up. Ooh, that's actually interesting too, because how am I going to get that server to accept my configuration if it doesn't already accept it? You would have to go on the server manually and pull the config and deploy it locally. So I might actually have to go on the server and apply this configuration, which is not a big deal. I can commit these changes. I can pull them down on the other server over SSH and build them there. But that may also take time. Let me think. All right, so Guix describe. Yeah. All right, so Guix describe F. I wrote that to channels.sem. What I want to do is just hard code the channel listing that we have on this machine so that it's the same on the local machine and the remote machine. So now we have that here. If I go to, oops. All right, so channels.sem, system crafters keys. I realize it just started raining. I hope it doesn't kill the stream. It seems like every time the rain starts, the internet goes down. So if the internet goes down and the stream goes off, that's because it started raining. Seems like we're okay for now. All right, so I've got everything set up here. First, I need to make sure that I didn't screw something up in the configuration. Let's just go back to ANSI term, try to build this. Yes, exactly, Trev. I have the same response. WTF, why would that be the case? Well, this is Greece, and who knows? Unexpected end of file in Emacs packages.scm. That is what I expected to see. 141. It must be right there. Check parens, all good. We're gonna go back, we're gonna reload this module. Let's just, main system? System. What? See you, Peter. Trev says all the wires are exposed and not insulated. Yeah, something like that. Oh, wait. What just happened? Yeah. Is it called main system or main server? Oh, main server config. I changed it. Got it. Main server config. Unbound variable. No. It's quite bound. Find that a little bit confusing. Anyway. Let's try it one more time anyway. This is not going to work. But I wanted to try to build and make sure that it builds correctly. And then we can try to go to the other machine and set it up. Because I think that's going to be the key here. Let's just let it start building. Oh, okay. So it's sending 0 store items. Shouldn't it have tried to send something? I guess it's communicating with the server. It's not necessarily sending anything in that case. It must be the rain. Yeah, we're going to blame everything on either left pad or the rain. That's for sure. I'm just curious to see if this will work. I don't think it will work because why would it be possible to send store items that say, hey, you now accept my key, and then it just accept them? I think that we're going to have to put it on the server directly and set that up. So it's not like a perfect system, but it is secure, I think, the way that the deployment works. It keeps malicious actors from pushing new configuration to your server. Hey, Luis. It's going fine. We're almost there. It's almost done. I was just thinking for a second about why the authentication is working. And I think that the private key that I created actually did not need to be created. I think my maybe my SSH configuration using GPG is working fine without that. So I'll have to experiment with that a bit. But the identity thing we set up with the new key that I generated may not have been necessary. I think at the last second it's going to end up kicking out or rejecting this config, which is fine, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Oh, it says it deployed it. That's curious. Let's give it a look. We'll go directly to the IP address first. And what was the port that was using for the server? 8081. Bad gateway. Okay, well, at least Nginx is saying something. What else? 8080? Okay, that's fine. So, bad gateway, proxy pass, localhost 8080. I guess the question is there something running on 8080? We may have to SSH into the server and see what's going on in there. So I could SSH into that same port. All right, and sudo herd status stopped site. So site failed to load. That makes sense. Var log messages. Come on. Sudo cat var log messages. Wow, that's like, we need to tail that. Is there a reason I use Nginx instead of Caddy? Because Caddy is not in Guix as far as I can tell. Tail F. Wow. Somebody's trying to hack my server. Oh, not follow. Number lines from the end. Yeah, tail dash in. That was what I wanted. Anyways, are people just trying to like SSH in as root nonstop on this server? That's good to know. It's 908 UTC. Yeah, I can't even freaking tell where the... Let me grep that. If I grep... Oh, psst. That's not what I meant to do. I'm just gonna kill that foot terminal and start again. So let's see. Yeah, grep Guile. Guile, no such file or directory. Site service, user bin end, Guile, no such file or directory. Oh, did I screw that up? Yeah, I think I need to put a couple things in the main. Yeah, That shouldn't be needed. That's kind of a bug, but let's fix that anyway. So if I look at server.sem in the, oh, I deleted everything from the packages list. Let me undo that. Packages. I don't put Guile in here. That's pretty strange that this would be the problem, but it does seem this is the problem. Guile, no such file or directory. That's the site service.sem file. If I were to go to GNU store site service, it doesn't even let me type. Site service. Come on. Why did it not hard code the Guile path? Because there's a user bin env Guile. All right, the only way to deal with this. Yeah, that file is kind of jacked. Let's see. I need to fix that in the package config. So let me go back over to the package config. We need to do a substitute. I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's do one other thing first really quick, and that is to put the put Guile in as a main package so that it's available. I mean, it's kind of useful to have anyway, so let's just put that in as a main package. Packages, we'll just put Guile here. And that will put it in the system level profile so that it's available to user bin env. At least that's theory. And we will try to deploy the machine again and see what happens. All right, so main server config unbound variable. There must be something wrong there. Guile -l dot use system crafters systems main server. Guile unbound variable. I swear to God, I put Guile in the package modules list. Guix packages by name. Guile. Guix packages Guile.scm. So why is it a problem? Package modules, Guile, main server, Guile, Guile. Don't get it. Did you install fail to ban at least to start dropping responses on those IPs? Maybe. Unbound variable. Yes, this is not what we... Oh, that's right. It's not just Guile, it's Guile 3. And we may have seen that. No, it doesn't say it, does it? It doesn't say what the symbol name is. But I'm pretty sure that's the issue. Again. .0. Fine. You win. Maybe this time it'll work. Okay, there we go, finally. So now it's going to just prepare the extra stuff to put into the profile. It shouldn't have to send anything new over to the server because shouldn't have to. There's some things that will be reconfigured a little bit, but Guile itself doesn't need to be sent there. It's already there. It's just a matter of hooking up anything else that's needed for the server profile to find Guile. So hopefully the backend will be up after that because the script should be able to run. We're going to find out pretty fast, though. 14 store items, probably some environment scripts because they're very small. Just takes a while, though. Okay, so it got redeployed. Let's see. Still bad gateway. Doesn't seem to be running. If I go over to foot. Did it again. Grep Guile. Grep site server. All right. All right, 17, 16. Error, continuing with other domains. Okay, so I see Certbot failed to authenticate some domains. Certificate authority reported these problems. Emacs packages, oh, DNS. Okay, fine. Requesting a certificate. It seems that staging.emacspackages.com may have a cert now. I'm looking for service. I should probably look for service site, shouldn't I? That's 916. It's currently disabled. 916.06. Let's see. Oh, it's disabled. I need to re-enable it. Probably because it failed a few times. So sudo herd enable site. Still bad gateway. Sudo herd status. Oh, I didn't start it. Guile, no such file. Again? Come on, man. All right, I have to fix that. Let's check out staging.emacspackages.com. Wonder why it's taking so long to load. Not down. Okay. Oh, is that right? 8081? Down? Yeah, you're probably right, Luis. I probably should set that up. Let me check. Okay, fail to ban is in here. That's good. Cool. Comes out of the box ready to read many standard log files. Easily configured to read any log file of your choosing. Okay. Probably should set that up. Still loading? Yeah, still trying to load. I wonder what is... Let me turn that proxy thing off. I don't know if the proxy thing is really the problem here. I don't want it to proxy. I just want you to let it go straight through. DNS only. Let my site breathe, please. It'll probably take some time for that to propagate. I saved it, right? Okay. Anywho. So we still have the same issue with site service. No such file or directory. So maybe I need to go change that now. In the script, let me see. Guile, sorry, not Guile, Guix. What was it? Package utilities? Build utilities? Build utilities. Just totally botched that. Substitute. Here we go. Substitute regex from file by returning the string returned by body. All right. So what I need is to go back to the Emacs packages package definition. So we're installing the file start server. Is that the one that actually has the issue? Yeah, I think start server is the one. If I look for Emacs packages, scripts, start server, it has user bin env -s guile. So what we want to do is take this whole bit and replace it. Substitute star file. Now, is that a file path? String append bin /start server.scm. And then for the first one, it's going to be the string that I know that's there. And then the replacement string, which is going to be the path to Guile itself. So I think that works. String append scm. String append bin start server. String append bin start server.scm. Yeah, okay. Can it just be like one whole set of steps? Why am I doing this as 2 steps? String append, soacref, string append. I think that's it. We can test this locally by building the package. So if I go back over to the ANSI term, what time? Okay, so we got about 30 minutes. It's good. I think we can get this working. All right, so let's go into the Guix REPL again. Sites, Emacs packages. All right, and then build Emacs packages. .com. What did I do? Oh, okay. Yes, it's two different things here. I need to do a use first and then a reload. There we go. Okay, yep, I broke something in that one step. Let's take a look at the build log. We're gonna use find file at point. Unbound variable inputs. Inputs. Oh, yeah, I need to do the inputs here as well. Here we go. Go back here again. Back to ANSI term. Reload the package. Build it again. Okay, now we've got a store path. And I can use find file at point to jump to that folder, check out bin, start server, the real version, GNU store. Yep. That looks right. Let's make sure this file actually exists. And it seems to exist. All right, I think that's probably good enough. Now, if I go back to ANSI term and hop out of the REPL, and we can try deploying it again. I mean, I probably should be testing this in container, but I think we're sort of close enough to having it work that it shouldn't be a big deal. All right. Overall, though, I have to say that it's been going pretty good. The whole process of trying to hack this live and put together a working configuration. I mean, it's certainly not as straightforward as it might be just using plain old scripts and just building things locally on a machine, but part of the point here is to make things a bit more reproducible and also do sandbox builds for stuff that goes to the server. So, you know, there's kind of leverage points to weigh here. All right, so sudo herd status site. It is disabled because it kept failing. So enable site and start site. Will be respond. Okay, it seems to be running. Let me see. Bad gateway still. That's just a pain in the ass. Secure connection failed. Learn more. Record too long. What does that even mean? Chris says, "Do you see my message about posting the skiing course to stay on the forum?" No. Where did you say that? Here or on the forum? I should do that though. You can do it too. In the IRC, yeah, I probably missed it. I've been too sucked into some of the stuff I've been hacking on that I wasn't really paying attention to IRC yesterday. Not secure, fine. I should probably take the, let me do that actually. Let's take the emaxpackages.com out of the domains list here, because I think the Certbot configuration is not working at the moment because it hits an error with emaxpackages.com not being bound on DNS. Let's see. Let's take a look at also what's happening in the server. It's disabled. So something is happening again. Let's see if we can grep the... I just saw something go by. Unrecognized switch. Listen dash E. I think I need to cap S. Guile script. Guile scripting. Top of a script file. Blah, blah, blah. Can you show me the example? Space followed by a command line argument to pass to Guile. This should be dash S. This tells, switch tells Guile to run a script. The meta switch dash E main dash S. Okay, how did I screw that up? Let's try this. I go to E shell. Okay, so at least it's consistent. Missing argument to dash S switch. Oh, okay. If I take the dash S off, unbound variable main. And dash S is what? The script thing? Oh, right. The system will treat everything after the Guile path as a single argument. The string, is, which is not what we want, is a workaround. The meta switch allows a Guile programmer to specify an arbitrary number of options without patching the kernel. Well, that's good. We don't want that. So I need to do a little intervention here, and I can actually do that myself, which is not a problem. Let's go up here and... Wait, let me take one look at that file. All right, that's fine. So where I put the Guile path in, I need to put a new line. A slash and a new line. A space and a slash and a new line. I'm trying to think of how many slashes I need here, because I'm not escaping the new line. That would be escaping the new line. I think that's fine. Let's try building it again. We'll see in the terminal if it's right or not. So, go back to the REPL. Go back to load the module. Build it. Then go to the folder path. Bin, start server real. That seems to be correct. I probably should take that space out though. Thanks, Trey, I appreciate it. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that'll work. I probably should rip that string though. So let's do one last intervention here. I'm gonna go back into Emacs packages. I'm gonna put the space right after Guile so that it takes the space also as part of the replacement. And then we're gonna go back into the REPL again. We're gonna reload that module. We're gonna build it again. And then after it's built, we'll check the output and make sure that the text looks correct. Yeah, let's do this. File at point. Bin, start server real. That looks correct this time. So hopefully this time when we deploy it, it will be right. Let's deploy again. So once we got this deployed, I hope that the server stays running. The only reason why it wouldn't stay running is if there's some issue with like the database path stuff not being set up right. But it may not matter. Let's just see what happens. I would love to see the site load. We still haven't seen the SSH certificate work yet. not secure, and why not? I guess because there's no certificate. We're going to check the logs and make sure that things are loaded up too. So while we're waiting on this, I want to mention one more time that in honor of us actually deploying the site this week, I've decided to set up a $50 discount off of the hands-on Guile Scheme for Beginners course. If you want to learn how to write Guile Scheme, kind of like we're doing in these streams and general videos that I make, check out the course at systemcorrectors.net/ well, this link here, but if you go to systemcorrectors.net/learn-scheme, it also will send you to the same place. This is a course that goes through the fundamentals of Scheme, fundamentals of functional programming with Scheme, and then practical application of using Guile to do things like, managing files in your file system, or other, general system tasks. Also writing your own Guile modules and overall Guile programs, handling command line arguments, interactive development with Geyser and the REPL, lots of other stuff like that. So if you are interested in learning Guile or Scheme in general, you go check out this course. And that's a $50 off discount that's applied automatically. You don't have to use a promo code or anything. So makes things a little bit easier. Let's see what's going on in the server. I don't like the fact that it keeps killing my SSH connections every time I run an update. Makes me wonder. Let me bump the size up here. Makes me wonder if it's restarting everything every time. SSHD, Shepherd, site has started, site is running. Let's see, does it work this time? Hey, it worked. All right, good. Now this is only, we don't have a package listing because I haven't synced the information yet. We can only just kind of see that the site is loading and clicking around. It's on the staging page. What about the certificates? Did it actually try to do any, wow. Failed password for invalid user, Ajay. Thanks, Ajay, for trying to hack into my website. I'm going to have to set up failed to ban for sure. Nimda, wow. There's so much that is like pounding my server constantly. Frappe, invalid user. Certbot, successfully received certificate for staging. Need to be renewed. Certificate successfully acquired. Sweet. Now does it work? Still isn't set up. Oh, because I didn't set it up on the config. All right, let's do that real quick. Let's get SSH rolling. Now, listen, port 80. Or is it 493? What's the right port for SSL? HTTPS port 443. 443? 443? Did I see that? 443 SSL? Let's make sure. Let's see. Guix Nginx service type. Web services. Yes, it's alive. Nginx service type. Listen. Default. Okay, so the default value is 80443 SSL. We could probably just get rid of that. Whoa, where'd that go? So let's try it. Let's go back to the ANSI term and deploy. And hopefully I can hit this through the main port 80 with SSL. Once this goes through. Takes too long to deploy this, but it's okay. I'm not going to complain too much about it. Come on. Almost there. Almost there. May have to check the logs. I really need some kind of backend for viewing logs from like a website or something. Okay, so am I still on the server? That's a good sign. Let's do a little tail here and see. Cool, certificate not yet due for renewal. Let's try to reload the page. Go to port 80 instead. Unable to connect. Site can be temporarily available. Let's check for grep nginx. Porting replacement for nginx. Hostname running with value sc main. Can I restart nginx maybe? So sudo herd restart nginx. Throw to key exception with args. Arguments what? Stopped, failing. Let's start it again. That's weird. Let me try to synthesize. Let's do this. I want to try to run it directly and see what happens. Oh. Okay, let's go back over to the terminal. Sudo. What the hell? Pocket. What did that copy? Oh, the -C. Yep. Let's get that out of there. No SSL certificate is defined for the listen directive in nginx conf. Cat GNU store M5CA. Hello. 5M. How am I supposed to set that up then? Server listen 80. What's insane, Glenn? Let's see here. Server listen 443 SSL. Serve HTTP. Well-known var. That must be for returning the... Oh, that's an auto redirect, I think. To HTTPS. That's fine. So maybe it's because I don't have a server configuration set up on nginx. Let's see. What does it say in here? Nginx. Default nginx location configuration. Serves challenges and responses. That's fine. Certificate configuration. For each certificate configuration, the certificate is saved to, etc. Let's encrypt live name full chain PEM, and the key is saved to. Okay, so I wonder what is name. Doesn't affect the content of the certificate itself. So see certificate names run certbot certificates. Certbot certificates. Okay, there we go. Got it. I probably need to bind that in the Nginx config somehow. Maybe that's why it's complaining. I thought it would happen automatically, but it must not. So Guix in, oh wait, it's right over here. Hello, certificate, SSL certificate. Where to find the SSL certificate for secure connections? Got it. And the key. So I've got the key path and the certificate path. So I probably need to set both of those up. So let's just grab this. Go back in the config. We're almost there. I keep saying we're almost there, but I kind of feel like we are closer to almost there now. All right, Nginx server configuration, SSL certificate. Is that right? All right, SSL certificate, and the path is here. SSL certificate key. I think that's private.pim. Ooh, I need to make sure that I get this path right too whenever I change everything. Back over to foot. Staging privkey.pim. Privkey.pim. All right, one more. Let's try it out. Almost done. Almost done. This will be the first time I've actually deployed a real Guile site, or any real site, you know, with SSL and have it work correctly. This is also the first time I've seen Certbot automation work on its own without me having to run a command to kick it off. Oh yeah, Glenn says, people trying to hack a server that's just been stood up. Yeah, no, it seems to happen all the time. They're just scanning the web for IP addresses to try to hack. So yeah, I definitely need to set up fail to ban and probably some other firewall related things on the server to keep people out. I tried looking into IP tables at some point because Guix has the ability to set up IP tables, and it's kind of complicated. I need to learn a little bit more about setting that up. Probably the server will get owned at some point. That's okay. We'll figure it out. Nothing important on there right now. Everything is getting for open ports all the time, says Morgan. Yeah, I believe that. Let's see. Bad gateway. Oh, that's the wrong tab. Anyway. Hey, HTTPS is working. Boom, look at that. Any information about the site? Anyway, HTTPS is working. You can go right now to https://staging.emaxpackages.com. How do you create an account on this stupid website? Did I actually have an endpoint for that? Well, probably better not to for now. Probably better not to for now. Now, let's see. Package listing. There's no packages at the moment. That's fine. We will fix all that as time goes on. But at least we do have a website that is working. Got an Nginx front end and a Guile scheme back end. It's got automatic SSL certificate generation and management. Yeah, seems to be working. So this is sort of the point from which we can build more features and get it to a state where I feel comfortable like actually running it as a real website. We'll need to do some things later, like, you know, instrumentation to kind of measure the performance of requests and maybe add a caching layer or other things like that. But maybe that's like, you know, further down the road. But at least we can see that the website works. And I'm kind of happy with the setup we have started with here to have a kind of a repository of server configurations where everything can kind of be kept together for the various websites that I need to deploy for system crafters. That may change in the future, but at least for now, we've got, you know, a good little setup for that. Yeah, maybe that's it for today. So let's go to the notes. So we did that when we set up Certbot, to auto provision a certificate for HTTPS. These people have nothing better to do. It's just bots. It's just like, you know, automated scripts that are going out and trying to hack servers. I guess it makes sense. Soon, set up failed to ban and other security measures. We definitely want that. Set up Certbot to auto provision a certificate for HTTPS. What else did we do? Set up the new. Hey, Boo. Yeah, you're right at the end, that's for sure. Set up the new. What was it called? What was the repo called? Server configurations. Which I need to make a commit for. So let's try to do that right now. Let's go into BC mode. Channels we're not really using at the moment. We probably will though, so I can kind of put that in anyway. So let's just mark these. My pub key, is that good? Yeah, regular old pub key. Emacs packages, main server. We're gonna add those, then we're gonna commit them. So initial commit of emacsPackages.com server config. Or let's just say add. All right, and then I can push this up. No configure push destination. Let's go to eShell cd dot server configurations, get remote origin, get at codeberg.org system crafters server configurations dot get push origin master. There it is. And if we go to the repo that we created, the file should be there. Got that. That's good. Copy that, put that into the notes. Right here. Cool. Boo says, I love how nice Certbot configuration is in Guix. I have an Nginx R proxy on my router, which runs Guix, and it's smooth apart from substitutes, often not having high availability. Yeah. I've used Certbot automation in the past, and it has not worked so smoothly as it did this time. That could be my fault, because I've learned a lot about Guix over the years, and I feel like every time I keep trying to do new things, I end up getting a little bit better at it every time, and I wonder why I got it wrong the first time. So this is one of those instances where I wonder why it didn't work the first time, or first times, let's say. All right, so we deployed a staging build of the site to a VPS, set up Certbot to auto provision, set up the new server configurations repository to share server configs. Whatever. Cool. Next time, I think that what we'll do is ensure that the database is working. Ensure that there is a public user creation page, which I don't remember. Run the sync archives script to populate the database with all Emacs packages, including those from the Melpa archives. And from there, we kind of just like keep plugging away on features for the site to make it usable for real people. We also need to make sure to authenticate tip creation requests. I could probably just add that for next time because we need to kind of just do that. That won't take long. Okay, I'm pretty happy with what we did today. We actually accomplished the goal that we set out for ourselves, which is good because sometimes it doesn't happen like that on System Crafter streams, but it happened today, so that's good. Hopefully that was useful and interesting for those of you who joined and watched most of the way through. Definitely leave a note in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts about how things can be done better. Also, if you have other suggestions on how to mitigate the swarm of hackers who appear to be peppering my server with SSH login requests. And yeah, I just mentioned one more time about the hands-on Guile scheme for beginners course. That's got $50 off discount right now until the end of the week. Go to systemcrafters.net. You'll see a link to it there. And check it out if you want to learn how to write Scheme and also Guile Scheme and practical programming with Guile Scheme. So a lot of fun. And as you see in the streams here, we have a lot of fun writing Scheme. So if you want to learn, then that's the place to do it. So thank you all very much for being here today. Appreciate your time and attention. And we'll see you back on Friday at the normal System Crafters live time, probably to talk about setting up a CI server with Laminar. I think that's what we're going to do. So until next time, happy hacking. We'll see you.